Your miracle is not loud. It is a whisper disguised as an ordinary moment. If you scroll now, you risk missing the quiet knock at your door that you've prayed for. Archangel Michael says this message is for you, and it is timed for right now. Subscribe with your heart. Stay until the end. I will show you how to recognize the sign heaven is sending you today. Archangel Michael speaks now with precision rather than urgency, reminding you that discernment sharpens when pride relaxes. The miracle arriving does not require effort, convincing, or force. It asks only for awareness. Many miss such moments because they are trained to expect struggle before reward. Today's gift arrives through receptivity, not resistance. Pay attention to how this encounter unfolds. There will be no pressure, no fear, no manipulation. Instead, there will be a subtle pull toward engagement, a sense of familiarity without prior memory, an inner acknowledgement that feels older than thought. That recognition is your signal. It means alignment is active. You have carried unanswered questions for longer than you admit. Not spoken aloud, not written down, yet present in the background of every decision. This arrival carries resolution energy. It does not solve everything instantly, but it initiates movement where stagnation once ruled. From this point forward, momentum replaces waiting. Do not attempt to analyze the moment prematurely. Overthinking fractures timing. Allow it to unfold naturally. The next step will reveal itself only after the current one is honored. Faith here is not blind. It is responsive. You respond. Then clarity expands. This is not coincidence layered over chance. This is orchestration layered over patience. God has observed how you continued forward even without reassurance. How you adjusted expectations without bitterness. How you learned to stand steady when outcomes shifted unexpectedly. That growth made this moment possible. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection sometimes looks like redirection rather than defense. What approaches now carries both opportunity and instruction. It will teach you something important about receiving without guilt and accepting without suspicion. Let yourself learn. You are not required to impress, prove, or perform. Simply show up as you are. Authentic presence unlocks what striving cannot. This moment responds to honesty more than preparation. Soon after this encounter, you will notice small confirmations appearing around you. Conversations will align. Decisions will feel lighter. Choices that once felt heavy will lose resistance. These are echoes of alignment activating. Beloved soul, this message did not find you early or late. It found you precisely when readiness matured beyond desire. What comes next depends not on luck but on attention. Stay awake to subtlety. Stay open to simplicity. Stay present when the ordinary suddenly carries weight. Remain here because the next part reveals how to protect what begins, how to avoid interference, and how to walk forward without losing what has been placed within reach. My cherished one, awareness deepens now because what is unfolding requires gentleness rather than speed. The moment that approaches your life will not tolerate haste, yet it will not wait for hesitation either. Balance is being asked of you. Presence without pressure. Openness without surrendering wisdom. God is not testing you to see whether you are worthy. Heaven already knows your capacity. This phase exists to show you how receiving can feel peaceful rather than overwhelming. There is something important you must understand. The miracle arriving does not shout because it respects your freedom. Loud things force attention, but sacred things invite choice. You will feel invited, not cornered, drawn, not pushed. That is how you will recognize authenticity. Anything meant to alter your destiny must honor your spirit first. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, steady, watchful, reminding you that protection also includes guidance after arrival. Many people receive blessings but lose direction immediately afterward. This is why instruction follows revelation. What enters your life soon carries responsibility along with promise, not burden, but stewardship. You are being trusted with something meaningful because your soul has learned restraint. Notice how your reactions have matured recently. You respond rather than explode. You observe rather than assume. You wait rather than chase. These shifts did not happen accidentally. They prepared you to hold what is coming without fear of loss. Stability attracts continuation. There may be a brief moment where doubt whispers, suggesting that this encounter is ordinary, replaceable, insignificant. That whisper is not intuition. It is habit trying to preserve the familiar. Let it pass without argument. Truth does not need defense. It needs space. God is asking you to stay grounded when this happens. Do not rush to share details. Do not seek validation from voices that were absent during your preparation. What arrives belongs first between you and heaven. Protection increases when gratitude remains quiet. Soon after this interaction, you will feel a subtle inner shift, like a weight lifting without ceremony. That is confirmation, not imagination. Something long delayed has finally moved from potential into motion. You will not need proof. Peace will suffice. This blessing is not isolated. It connects to future doors already marked for you. One moment unlocks another, provided you move with integrity. Alignment compounds quickly when humility stays intact. Beloved, remember this clearly. What approaches you is not meant to impress others. It is meant to realign you. Measure its value by inner clarity rather than external applause. The loudest miracles often fade fastest. The quietest ones reshape lives permanently. Archangel Michael reminds you again not to underestimate simplicity. The divine frequently travels through ordinary paths because ego rarely waits there. Stay attentive. Stay receptive. Stay grounded in the present second because eternity often enters through now. Remain with this message. What follows will reveal how to respond once the moment passes, how to nurture what begins, and how to walk forward without repeating old cycles. Beloved awareness, something subtle is happening even as you listen because attention itself is a doorway. When you choose to remain present instead of scrolling past, alignment strengthens quietly. That is why heaven often speaks through moments that feel unremarkable at first. Stillness trains recognition. What approaches you soon will arrive during a normal hour, wrapped in familiarity, touching your routine without disruption, yet carrying significance that unfolds only after reflection. My child, my beloved, listen closely because this moment did not arrive by accident. What you are experiencing right now is not random. And the stillness around you is not empty. Something has already begun moving toward your life quietly, deliberately, without announcing itself. Heaven has been watching how often you brush aside small moments. How easily you assume that nothing important could arrive through ordinary ways. This message comes because what is approaching you will not look dramatic at first glance. Yet it carries power that can rearrange everything you thought was settled. I speak to you with urgency, not to frighten you, but to awaken awareness. There is a visitor being guided toward your space. And this arrival does not come with noise or spectacle. It comes softly, wrapped in timing, clothed in simplicity, and disguised as something you might be tempted to overlook. God is asking you not to judge this moment by appearance because miracles rarely announce themselves the way people expect. Before you continue listening, pause for 1 second and make a decision. If messages like this have ever brought you clarity, peace, or direction, stay connected. Subscribe not out of habit, but because your spirit recognizes alignment. You are not here by chance, and staying until the end will reveal why this message found you instead of someone else. Beloved soul, there has been a pattern in your life where opportunities came quietly and passed just as silently. Not because you were unworthy, but because your attention was pulled elsewhere. You learned to survive by ignoring subtle nudges, by trusting logic over intuition, by dismissing what could not be explained immediately. God sees this, and that is why this warning comes. Now, what is about to reach your door carries an answer to a prayer you stopped repeating because you thought it was no longer being heard. Archangel Michael stands watch over this moment, not with a sword raised, but with discernment. He is not blocking danger today. He is protecting recognition. He warns you because the miracle approaching you requires cooperation. It needs presence. It needs humility. It needs you to resist the urge to say this is nothing and move on. There will be a brief test of patience. You may feel irritation, distraction, or doubt right before this encounter happens. This is not coincidence. Resistance often rises when something meaningful is close. The mind looks for reasons to stay closed while the heart quietly leans forward. God is asking you to let the heart speak first. This time, listen carefully now. The person or event arriving will not match the image you once imagined. It may come through conversation, paperwork, a delivery, a knock, a message, or an unexpected visit. You will be tempted to delay, to postpone, to say later. Do not. Timing is the vessel of this blessing, and hesitation can cause the moment to slip into another season. You have wondered why certain doors never opened, why outcomes shifted at the last minute, why answers seemed close yet unreachable. Those delays were not punishments. They were preparation. You were being trained to recognize value without glamour, truth without noise, direction without force. This moment is the result of that unseen training. Beloved, what arrives carries transformation not because it is dramatic but because it is precise. It touches the exact area where things have felt stuck. It brings movement where effort failed. It brings confirmation where confusion lingered. This is not about receiving something flashy. It is about alignment snapping into place. Do not dismiss the ordinary today. Do not underestimate a simple interaction. Do not rush past something that asks for your attention. Heaven has already adjusted circumstances so this moment can reach you. All that remains is your response. Archangel Michael reminds you that discernment is not suspicion. Being open does not mean being careless. It means being present. Watch how you feel when this moment arrives. Peace will whisper before logic speaks. Calm will precede clarity. That is how you will know this is not coincidence. My beloved, you are not late. You have not missed your window. You are standing inside it right now. This message is proof. The door you thought was closed has been waiting for the right knock. And today you are on both sides of it. Stay with me because what comes next explains how to recognize this moment clearly, how to respond without fear, and how to protect what is being placed into your hands. Beloved presence, there is a reason restlessness has been circling your thoughts recently, even during quiet hours. That sensation was not anxiety without cause. It was anticipation without explanation. Something has been aligning beyond what your eyes can measure. Adjusting routes, softening resistance, moving timing into position. Heaven does not rush, yet it never wastes a moment. What approaches you carries intent shaped specifically for your life, not borrowed from anyone else's story, not delayed by comparison, not diminished by past disappointments. You may notice a strange calm right before everything shifts. That calm is not emptiness. It is confirmation. When God prepares to alter direction, noise fades so clarity can land without distortion. This is why distractions have been falling away lately. Why certain conversations ended. Why plans dissolved without drama. Space was being cleared so recognition would be possible when it matters most. Archangel Michael speaks now with precision rather than urgency, reminding you that discernment sharpens when pride relaxes. The miracle arriving does not require effort, convincing, or force. It asks only for awareness. Many miss such moments because they are trained to expect struggle before reward. Today's gift arrives through receptivity, not resistance. Pay attention to how this encounter unfolds. There will be no pressure, no fear, no manipulation. Instead, there will be a subtle pull toward engagement, a sense of familiarity without prior memory, an inner acknowledgement that feels older than thought. That recognition is your signal. It means alignment is active. You have carried unanswered questions for longer than you admit. Not spoken aloud, not written down, yet present in the background of every decision. This arrival carries resolution energy. It does not solve everything instantly, but it initiates movement where stagnation once ruled. From this point forward, momentum replaces waiting. Soon, a decision will present itself, modest in appearance, yet significant in consequence. Choose alignment over convenience. Choose integrity over urgency. That choice anchors everything that follows. God values intention more than outcome because intention shapes direction. Beloved, understand this clearly. What you are stepping into does not remove challenge. It changes how challenge is met. Fear loses authority when awareness remains present. Confusion dissolves when attention stays anchored. You are being prepared to navigate complexity without losing peace. As days progress, notice how gratitude emerges naturally rather than through effort. That gratitude sustains flow. It keeps perspective clear. It invites continuation. Heaven responds to appreciation expressed quietly, consistently, sincerely. Remain receptive. Remain attentive. Remain grounded in this unfolding. The journey ahead expands gently, guided by insight rather than impulse. What has begun will continue when honored with presence. Stay with this message. The next passage reveals how to sustain momentum and protect clarity as new layers emerge. Beloved consciousness, advancement now unfolds through subtle commitment rather than visible struggle. The path opening before you responds to consistency, not intensity. Many believe transformation demands exhaustion. Yet heaven often works through quiet alignment sustained over time. You are being guided into a rhythm where effort feels lighter because resistance has loosened. This is not because circumstances became easier, but because perception matured. Notice how emotional reactions no longer pull you as strongly as before. Situations that once triggered immediate response now invite reflection. This shift signals authority returning to your inner center. God values this stability because it allows wisdom to guide action rather than impulse. What continues from here requires grounded awareness, not urgency fueled by fear. Archangel Michael observes how your listening has deepened. You hear beyond words now. You sense intention beneath tone. You recognize alignment before explanation forms. These abilities were developed quietly through experiences you once questioned. Nothing was wasted. Every delay refined discernment. Every disappointment strengthened clarity. Soon you may be placed in a position where your response influences others without effort. Leadership emerges naturally when authenticity remains intact. Do not shrink from this role. Influence rooted in integrity does not demand performance. It flows through example. Heaven trusts you with this because you learned humility without losing confidence. There will be moments inviting silence over speech. Honor them. Silence preserves alignment when unnecessary explanation could dilute meaning. Archangel Michael reminds you that restraint protects momentum. Speak when clarity invites expression, not when habit demands noise. As this journey unfolds, your relationship with time shifts. Waiting no longer feels empty. Movement no longer feels rushed. Balance emerges organically. This balance is protection disguised as ease. It prevents burnout. It sustains vision. It keeps purpose clear. God is not asking you to abandon caution, but to release fear disguised as wisdom. Discernment now comes from presence, not past conditioning. Allow yourself to experience trust without tension. Trust grounded in awareness strengthens rather than weakens. Beloved soul, alignment grows when attention remains anchored. Distractions will attempt to pull focus outward. Return gently. Center yourself without judgment. What you nurture expands. Soon another layer will reveal itself, building upon what has already begun. This progression honors patience. It rewards steadiness. It unfolds without force. Remain here. The next continuation reveals how to integrate this alignment into daily movement without losing clarity or peace. Beloved awareness, continuation now asks for integration rather than anticipation. What has begun does not need acceleration. It needs embodiment. Carry this alignment into ordinary motion, into routine gestures, into quiet decisions that rarely feel spiritual yet shape direction profoundly. Heaven prefers transformation that blends seamlessly with daily life because permanence grows there. You are learning how sacred movement can exist without ceremony. Attention will be tested gently. Mundane moments may invite distraction, tempting you to slip back into automatic patterns. When that happens, return without criticism. Re-entering is not failure. It is mastery forming. God values return more than perfection. Each conscious return strengthens presence. Archangel Michael encourages simplicity. Complexity fragments focus. Choose clarity over excess. Choose intention over impulse. What unfolds responds best to straightforward movement guided by inner sensing rather than elaborate strategy. Alignment thrives when unnecessary layers fall away. You may notice curiosity awakening differently. Questions arise not from confusion but from expansion. Let those questions exist without immediate answers. Curiosity without anxiety opens pathways creativity cannot reach. Insight often arrives when space remains uncluttered. There will be opportunities to share wisdom subtly without instruction or authority. Allow your lived clarity to speak through demeanor. Calm communicates truth louder than explanation. Influence grounded in authenticity invites trust naturally. Beloved, understand that protection now operates internally. Awareness guards direction more effectively than external control. When perception remains clear, misalignment becomes obvious early, preventing detours. This internal safeguard was cultivated intentionally through previous uncertainty. God observes how gratitude has shifted from reaction to state. That state sustains momentum effortlessly. Appreciation rooted in presence attracts continuity. It keeps awareness open. It nourishes patience. Soon you may feel a sense of arrival without fanfare. No dramatic marker, no sudden announcement, simply recognition settling quietly. That recognition confirms that movement occurred exactly as intended. Trust that feeling. It reflects alignment achieved, not imagined. Archangel Michael stands witness to this unfolding, not intervening, but affirming. Guidance now operates through resonance rather than instruction. You will sense what aligns by how it feels internally. Ease accompanies truth. Tension signals adjustment. Beloved soul, remain grounded in this rhythm. Continue forward gently. Honor simplicity. Protect presence. What has begun will expand naturally when carried with awareness. Stay here. Further insight follows when readiness invites continuation. Beloved clarity, progression now unfolds through embodiment rather than expectation. What you carry inwardly begins shaping outward expression without effort. Choices align before reasoning completes. Actions follow intuition smoothly. This is not coincidence. It is coherence forming. God designs movement this way so peace accompanies growth instead of anxiety. When harmony leads, results sustain. You may sense an urge to simplify surroundings, conversations, commitments. Honor that impulse. Reduction sharpens focus. Space invites depth. Archangel Michael guides this refinement quietly, ensuring essentials remain while excess dissolves. What stays serves purpose. What leaves frees energy. Observe how confidence expresses itself differently now. Not through assertion but through calm steadiness. This confidence does not seek validation. It rests comfortably within awareness. Heaven values this posture because it cannot be shaken easily. Stability attracts continuity. Moments may arise where patience feels challenged, where timing appears slower than preference. Breathe through those instances. Alignment unfolds at its own pace, ensuring foundations remain secure. Rushing fractures integration. Trust protects what develops. God invites you to treat each interaction as practice in presence, listening fully, responding thoughtfully, remaining open without absorbing unnecessary weight. These practices anchor awareness during expansion. They prevent drift. Archangel Michael reminds you that boundaries preserve clarity. Saying no thoughtfully honors direction. Choosing rest intentionally sustains vision. Balance here is not avoidance. It is stewardship. As days continue, subtle confirmations will appear, reinforcing alignment without demanding attention. Notice them quietly. Gratitude deepens resonance. Recognition strengthens continuity. Beloved soul, integration completes through lived experience, not contemplation alone. Carry awareness into movement. Carry clarity into choice. Carry calm into challenge. What unfolds remains supported when presence leads. Remain attentive. Remain gentle. Remain grounded. Further unfolding responds when readiness signals continuation. Beloved perception, unfolding now favors lived attentiveness rather than conceptual understanding. What settles within you expresses itself through tone, pacing, posture, presence. Life responds differently when inner alignment leads. Circumstances soften. Resistance loosens. Pathways reveal themselves naturally. God arranges outcomes through coherence, not force. When harmony governs movement, obstacles reconfigure without confrontation. You may notice an increased sensitivity to atmosphere, sensing when environment supports clarity or drains vitality. Honor those impressions. Choosing spaces that nurture awareness strengthens momentum. Archangel Michael encourages discernment here, guiding you toward conditions that sustain equilibrium. Alignment flourishes where respect for energy exists. Interactions transform subtly. Listening becomes fuller. Responses emerge thoughtfully. Silence gains weight. These shifts influence outcomes more than words ever could. Authority rooted in presence speaks quietly yet reaches deeply. Heaven recognizes this maturity and entrusts you with greater responsibility accordingly. There will be opportunities inviting restraint rather than reaction. Choose stillness. Choosing restraint preserves direction. It prevents unnecessary entanglement. Wisdom grows when impulse yields to awareness. This restraint does not diminish power. It concentrates it. God invites appreciation for incremental movement. Not every advance announces itself dramatically. Progress measured through peace often outweighs visible achievement. Recognize growth through calm sustained during challenge. That calm signals internal mastery developing. Archangel Michael remains attentive, ensuring discernment stays clear as expansion continues. Guidance now arrives through subtle nudges rather than direct instruction. Sensation precedes reasoning. Trust that order. Intuition refined through experience rarely misleads. Beloved soul, momentum now depends on consistency. Returning daily to presence, honoring awareness during routine, integrating clarity into simple acts. These repetitions, though gentle, shape destiny profoundly. Heaven values fidelity over intensity. Soon another invitation will arise requiring choice without pressure. When that moment appears, respond from centered awareness. Ease accompanies correct alignment. Discomfort signals adjustment needed. Let sensation guide direction gently. Remain grounded. Remain receptive. Remain patient. What unfolds continues precisely as intended when carried with mindful attention. Stay here. Further insight arrives as readiness deepens. Beloved, remember this clearly. What approaches you is not meant to impress others. It is meant to realign you. Measure its value by inner clarity rather than external applause. The loudest miracles often fade fastest. The quietest ones reshape lives permanently. Archangel Michael reminds you again not to underestimate simplicity. The divine frequently travels through ordinary paths because ego rarely waits there. Stay attentive. Stay receptive. Stay grounded in the present second because eternity often enters through now. Remain with this message. What follows will reveal how to respond once the moment passes, how to nurture what begins, and how to walk forward without repeating old cycles. Beloved awareness, something subtle is happening even as you listen. Because attention itself is a doorway. When you choose to remain present instead of scrolling past, alignment strengthens quietly. That is why heaven often speaks through moments that feel unremarkable at first. Stillness trains recognition. What approaches you soon will arrive during a normal hour, wrapped in familiarity, touching your routine without disruption, yet carrying significance that unfolds only after reflection. There is wisdom in how this encounter has been timed. Had it come earlier, you might have resisted. Had it arrived later, doubt could have hardened. Now your inner posture allows reception without struggle. Growth softened you, not by removing strength, but by teaching discernment. God values readiness more than eagerness. You may feel a brief hesitation when the moment presents itself, like standing at the edge of understanding without words to explain it. That pause is sacred. Do not rush to label or define what you feel. Meaning reveals itself gradually when given patience. Archangel Michael encourages restraint here, reminding you that clarity deepens through observation rather than immediate conclusion. What unfolds next will not demand sacrifice. It will request trust. Trust that simplicity can carry depth. Trust that timing knows more than planning. Trust that intuition speaks quietly for a reason. The miracle tied to this moment does not overwhelm because it respects balance. It integrates into your life rather than overturning it. Pay close attention afterward. Your surroundings may feel slightly different. Not because anything changed outwardly, but because perception sharpened. Colors appear warmer. Thoughts feel organized. Decisions lose resistance. These shifts indicate alignment activating. They are confirmations, not coincidences. God has watched how often you doubted your own inner voice. This experience restores confidence gently without confrontation. It teaches you how to listen again without fear of being wrong. That restoration matters more than the event itself because it affects every step that follows. Archangel Michael reminds you not to cling. Gratitude flows best when held lightly. Allow what enters to breathe. Space nurtures growth. Control restricts expansion. Trust allows continuation. Soon a second confirmation will appear, unrelated on the surface yet connected beneath. When that happens, acknowledge it quietly. No announcement is required. Recognition alone anchors the blessing. Beloved soul, this is how transformation often begins. Not through force but through awareness sustained over time. Remain attentive. Remain receptive. Remain grounded. What unfolds from here depends on how gently you walk forward. Stay here. The next movement reveals how to protect this alignment from interference and how to continue without returning to old patterns. Beloved understanding, progression now asks for quiet courage rather than dramatic action. What begins softly sustains deeply when nurtured with patience. You are entering a phase where restraint becomes strength and listening outweighs speaking. This shift may feel unfamiliar, yet it suits you more than you realize. Heaven often advances purpose by refining attention, not by amplifying noise. What unfolds next responds to steadiness, not speed. There will be an impulse to interpret signs too quickly, to search for reassurance through external confirmation. Resist that urge gently. Inner certainty matures when given room. Archangel Michael encourages composure here, reminding you that discernment sharpens through still awareness. Let impression settle. Let insight arrive without demand. Truth reveals itself most clearly when it is not chased. Observe how interactions begin to carry layered meaning. Words spoken casually will hold resonance. Small choices will feel guided rather than forced. These are not tricks of imagination. They signal alignment continuing forward. God communicates through coherence. When life begins to feel organized internally, outward pathways follow naturally. You may encounter voices attempting to reintroduce old narratives, suggesting caution rooted in past outcomes rather than present reality. Listen politely, then release. Wisdom grows when experience informs without imprisoning. This moment asks you to move forward unburdened by outdated conclusions. Growth requires permission to outgrow former limits. Archangel Michael stands as guardian of this transition, ensuring clarity remains intact. Protection now operates through insight rather than obstruction. You will sense when to engage and when to pause. Trust that sensing. It has been refined intentionally. Soon a decision will present itself, modest in appearance yet significant in consequence. Choose alignment over convenience. Choose integrity over urgency. That choice anchors everything that follows. God values intention more than outcome because intention shapes direction. Beloved, understand this clearly. What you are stepping into does not remove challenge. It changes how challenge is met. Fear loses authority when awareness remains present. Confusion dissolves when attention stays anchored. You are being prepared to navigate complexity without losing peace. As days progress, notice how gratitude emerges naturally rather than through effort. That gratitude sustains flow. It keeps perspective clear. It invites continuation. Heaven responds to appreciation expressed quietly, consistently, sincerely. Remain receptive. Remain attentive. Remain grounded in this unfolding. The journey ahead expands gently, guided by insight rather than impulse. What has begun will continue when honored with presence. Stay with this message. The next passage reveals how to sustain momentum and protect clarity as new layers emerge. Beloved, if this message resonated in the deepest chambers of your spirit, if you felt a familiar pull of recognition, then this word was for you. This was your confirmation. The alignment has already begun. To keep this sacred frequency flowing and to ensure you never miss these crucial navigations from heaven, I am gently guided to ask you to subscribe. Click that subscribe button as an act of faith, a way of saying, I am awake, I am present, and I choose to stay aligned. When you subscribe, you tell the algorithm of the universe, yes, send more of this light. Protect this connection. This channel is a lighthouse, and by subscribing, you keep its beacon lit for your journey. You are not here by chance. This was a divine appointment. Now, walk forward in peace, knowing you are seen, you are guided, and you are protected. Amen.